Till now, we have seen various specialized agencies of the United Nations which are tasked to perform the various socio-economic and cultural goals of the United Nations. Continuing with that discussion, we will now look at UNESCO, which is the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, the logo of which is over here. Now we see the symbol of UNESCO in this particular picture. What does it look like to you? At the first glance itself, we understand that it has to do something with cultural and heritage, given the structure which is present over here. And every single letter of the acronym UNESCO acts as the pillar of this particular building, which shows that UNESCO wants to act as a similar pillar for uplifting the culture, the education, and the science of humanity. Now, the UNESCO was established on 4th of November 1946. In this picture, we see the first session of UNESCO in progress. Now, can you answer this question? When was the UNESCO established? Was it on 4th of November 1946, 4th of October 1946, 4th July 1946, or 4th September 1946? The correct answer is 4th November 1946. Now, UNESCO is headquartered at the World Heritage Center in Paris, which is in France. Over here we see the World Heritage Center building. Now let us look at the structure of UNESCO. UNESCO has three primary organs: the Executive Board, the General Conference, and the Secretariat. Now while the General Conference acts as the representative body of UNESCO, the Executive Board acts as the executive, and the Secretariat acts as its administrative body. Now the General Conference, which is a representative body, meets once every 2 years to approve UNESCO's successive programs and also its budgets. The Executive Board, which is the executive organ of UNESCO, is comprised of 58 member states, and it is presided upon by a Director General. The Director General is a representative of the Secretariat, which is the administrative wing as mentioned. Now, the Executive Board is primarily responsible to develop UNESCO's policies and programs between the sessions of the General Conference. Now, we just mentioned the General Conference meets once every 2 years. The period of time is too long, and therefore to make sure that every policy and program of UNESCO is updated, the Executive Board takes up the responsibility to develop these policies and programs between the sessions of the General Conference. We see the Executive Board in session in this particular picture. Now, apart from developing the policies and programs between the sessions of General Conference, it is a general responsibility of the Executive Board, being the executive organ of UNESCO, to also effectively implement these policies and programs as well. In this picture, we see a glimpse of a session of the Executive Board. Now coming to the question, what led to the creation of UNESCO? Well, why don't we let the UNESCO Constitution itself answer that? The UNESCO Constitution begins with the following words: since wars begin in the minds of men, it is in the minds of men that the defenses of peace that must be constructed. Therefore, we understand quite simply that UNESCO realizes that peace is not just a process, it is a mindset. Now let's understand how UNESCO officially came into being. Now, the aftermath of the Second World War made the world rethink what really peace is. They realized that peace is not the mere absence of war. In fact, as mentioned, peace is a mindset. And to make sure that peace is established and peace can be ensured, it is the minds of people which need to be changed. It is the minds of people where change needs to be brought. And that is why the United Nations felt that peace must be built upon the intellectual and moral solidarity of humanity. Peace should be built upon culture, knowledge, education, and sciences. You see, the United Nations realize that peace can only be established when education is used for the true well-being of the child, not for propaganda. When culture is used to unite the races together, not to spread hatred amongst them, and when science is used for the true development of humanity, not to build weapons which can kill thousands with the press of a button. And that is why the United Nations felt that they require a specialized agency which develops such a kind of peace in the minds of people, employing the humanist missions of education, culture, and science. And with that goal in mind, the United Nations organized a special conference at the end of the Second World War, which brought together 44 nations of the world and which established UNESCO as a specialized agency of the United Nations on 4th November 1946 with the purpose of preserving this kind of peace. Now that we have understood how the UNESCO came into being, let's understand the primary aim of the agency. UNESCO aims to contribute to peace and security in the world by promoting collaborations among nations through the fields of education, science, culture, and also through effective communication involving mutual understanding and proper dialogue. Now we see some posters of UNESCO which helps us understand what its aims are. The first poster says, "Can you read?" And then it says, "3/4 of the world's people cannot." So this is spreading awareness regarding the illiteracy around the world and is trying to pledge people to help solve this problem. Moving on, we see a similar poster which says that reading the past, writing the future. Now the next poster is not a poster but the cover of a UNESCO magazine which says reading the past, writing the future. And then it says that UNESCO has been working for 50 years to promote literacy. That's the very problem which UNESCO has mentioned in this poster. It has been solving for 50 years. Finally, in this particular picture, we see a laboratory instrument and an open book transcending with a dove, which is a symbol of peace. And then it says, "Science for peace." Therefore, science should be carried out, but for the purpose of peace. And that is also a very crucial aim of UNESCO. So in this lesson, we saw the structure, formation, and aim of the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO. In the subsequent lesson, we will be looking at the various functions in the various fields as well, which is carried out by UNESCO. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to learn one-to-one with our amazing teachers or to get access to all our 5,000 plus amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubts resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it is rewarding too. So register for free now.